Welcome back to Real Chill Conversations. Hey, Brenna, what's up?
Hey, Dominique. Happy Sunday to you, and happy Sunday to everybody that's tuned in to join us today.
Happy Sunday, y'all, and I hope everybody is having a good day. We are definitely going to get into this topic today. It's not very long because it's a topic that most people don't talk about, and it is a silent abuse in a relationship.
Yes.
So, financial abuse in relationships. That's what we're talking about what we're talking about today. So let's get into it. Believe it or not, Brenna, there are a lot of people that face this in their relationships and they don't even know it.
Yes. This is definitely a situation that most people aren't even aware that they're in it until a crisis arises and they have some type of need or have something that they need to take care of, and then they realize that they don't have control or the control over their finances or their joint finances that they thought that they should have. Now, some, men would put forth the argument that, well, if you had your own shit, then you wouldn't need to worry about what I'm doing for you or what I'm not doing for you. But I don't look at it like that. I mean, of course, a woman should be able to have the independence and should be able to, earn her own income. But what if you're in a situation where you were ill or you were in an accident and you weren't able to earn your own income? Or what if you're in a situation where you have multiple children, you have five, six, seven kids? There is no way that you're going to be able to get out there and get a job and not be paying thousands of dollars in childcare and daycare. So it is your responsibility to stay home with the kids and take care of the kids. And so, therefore, the financial burdens should be eliminated from being part of your responsibility roster because you just don't have the means to do it.
Yeah. And this is something that a person uses to control the other person. Um, as far as like you said, so we see this in relationships, but we also see this with elderly people as well too.
Yeah.
Because they're not able to control their own finances at times. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm speaking from a place where experience. So it is kind of messed up that the other person is doing this and uses money to control you. Um, this is one of the reasons I want to say this before I continue. This is one of the reasons some people feel so stuck in a relationship.
Right.
And some feel like you know, they can't leave the relationship because they don't have access to funds.
Right. They don't have the means to do it, so they feel like they don't have any other choice but to stay in a situation like that. I know of someone that went through a really significant case of financial abuse in terms of her significant other, which happened to be her husband. He had to have control over all the money that came into the household. Now, she did work, she did have a job, but he demanded that she put her paycheck in their joint checking account. Like, she wasn't able to have a bank account of her own so that she had access to funds on her own. If she needed something, if she needed to go to the store, she always had to ask him for money or permission to access the account. And I'm like, what if you wanted to buy your husband a gift? What if you wanted to treat him, to something? He's got to run down every single expense that you spent just in order to maintain that control, and you're not able to do for yourself. I mean, that's embarrassing as an adult to be in a position where you can't go and do as you need to because somebody is withholding finances or using it to control you. Like, when everything is great, They want to hand you money hand over fist, or buy you designer things and nice things and material things or what have you, take you out for nice dinners and different treats and go on trips and things like that. But if you decide that you want to buy yourself something or you want to order something online, it's a, oh hell no, because they don't want you to have it. They don't want you to have access to it. And to me, it's just degrading, as a, not even just as a woman, but as a person, to be in a relationship like that where you're being controlled by money.
I feel like it is very embarrassing. Like I am a grown up, you know. And guys, your partner knows that's what they're doing.
Right.
They know that.
Right.
This is like a strategic move from the other person to keep you trapped
Mhm.
and control
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah.
Control you. Control you and the finances. So know the signs, like, some signs is like they'll limit your access to the money, limit your ability to make any money. Some people, even your partner gets to decide when you can get the money and what is the money for. Um, Giving your money to that person so they can control it. Like you find people just giving all their money to the person. They may have a job and everything,
Right.
you know.
Like in the situation I talked about where, she had to, her paycheck had to get direct deposited into their joint account. Like she couldn't have it deposited into her own personal account. There's no way in the world I'm going to be in a situation where we only have one bank account. I must still have my own bank account. I still have my own bank account. I still have my own account. And I know I'm not depositing my entire paycheck into the joint banking account. What bills need to be paid, what things need to be taken care of, that's fine from joint account. But if I want to do something for myself, I feel like I have the right and I'm entitled to do something for myself. Like you said, I'm a grown up, I'm an adult, I'm a woman.
Facts. And then you have people also, um, wanting for you to pay all the bills and stuff with your money. So you could spend all your money and you won't have any money left. So now you
Right.
have to depend on their money.
Right.
You see? So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm a breadcrumb you. I'm going to give you the money whenever I'll tell you to do something and you don't do it. It's like holding stuff against you.
It is. It exactly is. If you don't behave in a way or a fashion that they want you to behave in, then they'll withhold money from you. If you turn around and then you ask them for something or say that you need something, or hey, I want to go get my nails done, or hey, I want to go get my hair done, or whatever the case might be, and then they're like, no. And then
Yeah.
what you gonna do? You stuck because you don't have your own means in order to do so, or you have your own means in order to do so, but you gave up your means to that joint account because that person was so demanding and controlling that you do that. And for whatever reason, you felt like that was what you needed to do, like in your relationship or in your marriage. And I don't agree with that. I think that that's wrong.
Absolutely. How do you feel about, should your partner know about your savings? If you have a savings account, should you let your partner know?
I think if you guys are having, an honest conversation, an honest dialogue about savings, and let's say there's something that's coming up that you want to do as a family, whether it's a trip or, some kind of vacation, buying something for the home, making some kind of like home repair, or let's say you want to put a pool in the backyard or whatever the case may be, or you have an elderly family member that's going to need, you know, to be placed in a nursing home and is going to need care and doesn't have the finances and things like that to do that. I think if you do a financial review and you talk about, well, hey, I have, this much, in savings or what have you, I think that that's okay. But I don't feel like that's something that you need to disclose on a weekly or monthly basis. Hey, by the way, I've got, 8 grand in my savings account. Now I'm at 10,000 in my savings account. It's your savings account. And I do believe that, that's something else that should be, you should have an individual savings as well as there should be a savings account, for the family. I just think that, too many women are placed in a situation where they're financially dependent. And I think men have a preference with making women financially dependent so that they can control them and as a means to control their behavior. But I don't feel like I need to disclose to you, down to the penny exactly how much money I have and what I have going on with it. I'm a responsible adult and savings is savings. So I'm not going to be dipping into my savings account to handle business the way I would be dipping into my checking account and going ahead and just paying for it.
True, true, true. Um, I mean, I think everybody should have, it's always good to talk about things and stuff like that, especially when it comes to finances. But when you know you have a partner that likes to um, use that financial abuse, then I don't think you should be discussing any savings
Right. Right.
because you'll get into a position where they'll find out that you have a savings account. They'll stop giving you money so you can spend all your money.
Right.
And then boom, you're, trying to make it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Especially if you're in a situation where you may be leaving your partner or, you may be parting ways.
Right.
So, and in those instances, I would say don't say nothing.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think about it like that, but now that you brought it up and you said it, that definitely is a good point. Because they'll certainly want you to run through whatever monies you have before they, hand you over anything.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just, and they do that. And like I
Hmm.
said, some people don't even know that they're in a abusive financial, relationship because
Right.
it can be. But it's silent because you may not see it that way.
Right.
Your partner may be like, I'm just doing this because I love you or I just want to see us succeed and it's all type of excuses that, they can cover it up with.
Exactly. And so, because you're so far in it, it's hard for you to recognize the signs and the symptoms and realize that you're in that type of situation. But if you start noticing things like you have to constantly ask permission to have access to the account, or let's say you have a joint bank account and you both have debit cards that are attached to that account, and let's say you go to the grocery store and you go grocery shopping and you use that account, if that person is questioning you on what the purchase was for. I mean, you can see the line item is Kroger, Publix, Walmart, Costco, whatever, whatever, and the amount. But if they're questioning you and they're harassing you and giving you a hard time about doing something that benefits the whole family, to me, I think that's definitely a sign of financial abuse. If you have open communication and open dialogue and you've established your joint account to take care of household things, and your partner doesn't say anything to you after your trip to whatever grocery store or whatever, and you've done your shopping and what have you, then they trust that you're doing what's best for the family and making the right decisions. And I think that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're questioned or you're harassed about it, and it's made to be a big deal when it was not, an individual purchase. It's not like you went out and bought some shoes and, a bag. You bought food for the household. Like, why is that a problem?
Right. Right. And that becomes more scary if it's a problem that you can't even go shop with our
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Would it be our money if it's just a simple relationship? Well, I guess so, because nowadays people get into relationships and it'd be like a whole marriage.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be like marriage duties.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it is a silent weapon in relationships. This also happens with elderly, people, family members as well. Like I
Yeah.
said at the beginning, these abusers use money as a weapon to control you. And some people will never, like I said, because the other person will tell you, sugarcoat it the best they can, but you're probably not going to really pay attention to it unless you're really paying attention to it.
Right.
You're probably not going to know unless you're really paying attention to it,
Mm-hmm.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they can say anything to you,
Right.
use any excuse of why they are holding money back from you.
Yeah.
And then you have some people that will motivate you to go to work
Yeah.
just so they can take all your money,
Mm-hmm.
but you not really looking at it that way.
Right.
And then you have some people that'll say, hey, I'm going to pay all the bills, you stay at home with our kids. I'll work,
Right.
I'll do this for us.
Right.
And then they'll turn around and hold the money from you.
Right.
So when you ask for anything, you know or try to let them know, hey, we need this, we need that, we need this. It's like, okay, now we have to count the money
Right. And why is it an issue? You
and
know?
how many times you have given it to me.
Right. Right.
Or I don't know, it's just weird. It's just some weird stuff. Um, I'm glad we talked about it today.
Yeah. For
Because
sure.
like I said, it's something that people don't really talk about.
No, they don't because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to be an adult. I mean, we're not children, and it's not like you're a child living under your parents' household where your parents, gave you a weekly allowance. Some people, I know some kids that got an allowance every week, and I know some kids that didn't get an allowance every week. But regardless, their parents still took care of what their basic needs were. If they needed clothes, if they needed shoes, if it's a girl and if they needed to get their hair done, or if it's a boy and they needed to go to the barber shop and get a haircut, or school supplies, or whatever it is that they need, food, things like that. I mean, it's automatically taken care of, and you don't have children necessarily questioning
And with those
their parents.
expenses, you shouldn't even have to ask.
Exactly.
It's some things that you just know exactly what needs to be bought.
Right.
It's bills that you know what needs to be paid.
Right.
So it's just crazy to me
It is.
that some people will definitely hold these things against their partner and try to control. And usually you'll see this in domestic violence cases. There's already something else going on in the relationship.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because I hear I do hear women say, well, I tried to leave, but I didn't have the finances to
Exactly.
do it because he
Exactly.
held the money back from me.
Exactly. He
He
held the money
told me
back.
not to work.
He held the money back. He told me not to work. He took the car. He took my car, the car that was supposed to be my car. He took my car, took the keys, whatever. So that they're trapped. So maybe they're not, in a relationship where there's physical abuse. Maybe he's not laying hands on you, but emotionally and financially, oh, by all means, he's abusing you. Definitely.
Exactly. Yes, not only that, but it can get to physically. It could
Right.
get to physical abuse.
Yeah, it could definitely
Money can
escalate.
always money listen, financial abuse can lead to physical abuse.
It can. It sure can. Absolutely, hands down. Without a doubt. And it escalates. So people that exhibit that type of behavior, then you do have to watch out. You do have to be careful with the escalating behaviors. If they're acting that way towards the finances, then they're going to start implementing that, with the emotional aspect of the relationship. And if they're implementing the finances and the emotional aspect of it, then you can bet for sure they're going to escalate to the physical aspect of the relationship. Now you're in a whole full blown domestic violence situation. You want to flee, you want to leave, but you don't
And
have
you don't
access.
have the money to
You
do
don't
it.
have the money to, you don't have the car to, you don't have any way to do it. So you feel stuck.
And you don't have the credit to do it.
Right,
Some people out here want for you to put everything on your credit, everything on you.
right,
Then
right.
don't pay, don't do anything. When they get upset, they don't want to do what they said they were going to do, and they end up fucking up your credit.
Exactly.
Now
E-
you don't have credit to get shit.
Right,
Do you hear
right.
me?
Mm-hmm.
These are things that we have to really think about.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, honey. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, I mean, the only thing that I would just say is, keep an eye on what's going on in your situation. If you feel like you're in a position where you could be suffering from financial abuse, then that's a red flag. And you probably are. Trust your intuition, trust your gut, and, ask yourself these questions. Why doesn't he want me to have access to the money? Why is it such a big deal for me to be able to take care of things that I need to take care of? Or even if I want to do something small for myself and reward myself, why is that such a problem? Ask yourself those questions and then come up with your answer and figure out a way to get out of that situation, because that's one that you don't need to be in.
I don't think I would even ask those questions to myself, honestly. But I would definitely see it for what it is.
Yeah.
Because you do have to pay attention
Yep.
to, you really have to um pay attention to your partner.
You do.
And I
They'll
mean,
show
if
you.
this is
They'll show you
something
better than they can tell you.
like you said in the beginning, uh have your own funds. And, you know, if you're in that type of situation, you want to make sure that you do.
Yep.
So if you need to get out,
Yep.
you will have those funds to do
Then
it.
you can go.
You definitely don't want somebody to be controlling every move financially in your relationship, because then again, you find yourself being stuck.
Right. And I
But
think you also,
it can still work.
yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say it can't. It can.
Yeah, I think though it creates, an environment of resentment though. Like I would resent being treated like that if somebody, was withholding uh,
Absolutely.
finances, for me in that regard. Like I'm a grown ass woman. I'm a whole ass adult. Like you're not my dad. You're not my parent. You're my significant other, and there's no reason for you to be treating me like this. So I would have hella resentment in that situation.
Especially when it's being held in a way that, if it's like for food bills and stuff
Yeah,
like that, like even with women out here who are single and take care of kids, and for some men to actually express themselves and say, well, I don't have to give her anything. Well, she's taking care of your baby
right.
or
Right.
your babies,
Mhm. Yeah,
so the right thing to do is to help.
right. Absolutely.
And I don't like when people like try to downplay it. Okay, yeah, you don't only have to help financially. You can also come get the kids, spend the weekend with them, get them off her hands, give her a break,
Mhm.
you know?
Yep, absolutely.
But when it comes to finances, everybody want to jump and say, well, not everybody, but a lot of people want to jump and say, well, you don't have to give her anything, or I don't have to give her anything. No, you should still help.
Right. Right.
Those are your babies that you created with that person.
Right.
So both of you are should be equally responsible.
I agree.
All right.
All right, my dear.
This
Thank
is
you all for joining us tonight, and we will see you next week.
all right, y'all. Have a good day.
All right. Love y'all. Bye.
Bye bye.